الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وما بعد. أحبتي في الله، حياكم الله وبياكم ومرحبا بكم. سوف نكمل إن شاء الله حيث انتهينا في الأسبوع الماضي، ألا وهو الآية العاشرة، أو ألا وهي الآية العاشرة من سورة سبأ. فهيا بنا ننطلق سويا في هذه الرحلة. أيها المصعب، تفضل.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ولقد آتينا داود منا فضلا يا جبال أوبي معه والطير وألنا له الحديد أن اعمل سابغات وقدر في السرد واعملوا صالحا إني بما تعملون بصير.
All right, and we certainly gave David from us bounty. We said, all mountains, repeat our praises with him, and the birds as well. And we made him pliable, and we made pliable for him iron, commanding him, make full coats of mail and calculate precisely the links, and work all of you righteousness. Indeed, I of what you do am seeing. The Shaykh alayhi rahmatullah says in the tafsir of this ayah, or these two ayat, أي ولقد مننا على عبدنا ورسولنا داود عليه الصلاة والسلام. And we have verily bestowed our favors upon our slave and our messenger David, upon whom be peace. وآتيناه فضلا من العلم النافع والعمل الصالح والنعم الدينية والدنيوية. And we have given him the virtue of beneficial knowledge, righteous deeds, and religious and worldly benefits. ومن نعمه عليه, and from Allah's favors upon him, from the favors of Allah upon Dawood, ما خصه به من أمره تعالى الجمادات كالجبال والحيوانات من الطيور أن تؤوب معه وترجع التسبيح بحمد ربها مجاوبة له. And from among the things that Allah specifically given to him was that the command Allah gave to the inanimate beings, such as the mountains and also the animals from among the birds, that it should repeat with him and echo his glorification of Allah. وفي هذا من النعمة عليه أن كان ذلك من خصائصه التي لم تكن لأحد قبله ولا بعده. And this became such that this was among the favors that were specific to him, so much so that it wasn't given to anyone before him nor anyone after him. وأن ذلك يكون منهضا له ولغيره على التسبيح. And that should be means of encouraging him and others to engage in tasbih, to say subhanallah. إذا رأوا هذه الجمادات والحيوانات تتجاوب بتسبيح ربها وتمجيده وتكبيره وتحميده كان ذلك مما يهيج على ذكر الله تعالى. That if the people see that these inanimate beings and the animals are responding in terms of the glorification of their Lord, praising him, glorifying him, exalting him, and extolling him, all of this will be among those matters that will entice you and encourage you and drive you to mention and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ومنها, and among them, أن ذلك كما قال كثير من العلماء أنه طربا بصوت داود. And among them is that many of the scholars have said that they did this out of the amazement they had because of the voice that Dawood had. فإن الله تعالى قد أعطاه من حسن الصوت ما فاق به غيره. Allah had given him of the beauty of voice what he exceeded others in this regard. وكان إذا رجع التسبيح والتهليل والتمجيد. And then whenever he would repeat the glorification of Allah Azza wa Jal, the tasbih from subhanallah, and tahleel from la ilaha illallah, and tamjeed from saying and tamjid is glorification. بذلك الصوت الرخيم الشجي المطرب, with this very deep, very deep and wondrous type of voice and voice pitch. طرب كل من سمعه من الإنس والجن حتى الطيور والجبال وسبحت بحمد ربها. Everything that heard him from among ins and jinn, even the mountains and the birds, all of them will glorify the Lord because of the amazement they had from the voice of Dawood alayhi salam. Bismillah. ومنها, and among the benefits, or those specific to Dawood, أنه لعله ليحصل له أجر تسبيحها لأنه سبب ذلك وتسبح تبعا له. Perhaps that it will be a reason for him to get the reward of the glorification of everything else, because he's the reason behind that taking place. And it's all of these beings are echoing the remembrance of Allah based on Dawood initiating it alayhi salam, and therefore he will get the reward of all that. ومن فضله عليه أن ألان له الحديد, and from the virtue and the bounty of Allah upon him is that he made iron, Allah Azza wa Jal made iron pliable for him. ليعمل الدروع السابغات, so he may make the coats of mail. وعلمه تعالى كيفية صنعته, and Allah taught him the method in which he could fabric or he could create or mold those items. بأن يقدره في السرد, أي يقدره حلقا ويصنع حلقا ويصنعه كذلك ثم يدخل بعضها ببعض, that he will basically calculate it precisely and he will turn it into like rings so that he could insert one into the other. قال تعالى وعلمناه صنعة لبوس لكم لتحسنكم من بأسكم فهل أنتم شاكرون, and we taught him the means of making clothing so that it can protect you from your own bats, from your own basically during war. So will you be thankful? ولما ذكر ما امتن به عليه وعلى أهله, when Allah mentioned what he had favored him and his family, what he has favored them, what Allah has favored him and his family with, أمره بشكره وأن يعملوا صالحا, Allah commanded him that he should be thankful to him and that they should all do righteousness. ويراقب الله تعالى فيه بإصلاحه وحفظه من المفسدات, and they should be observant of Allah Azza wa Jal in regards to their deeds by rectifying it and by protecting and preserving it from corrupters. بأنه بصير بأعمالهم مطلع عليها, for them to remember that Allah Azza wa Jal is observing and sees their deeds and he is well acquainted with them. لا يخفى عليه منها شيء, nothing of it is hidden from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing. طيب, آيات 12 till 14 لو سمحت.
ولسليمان الريح غدوها شهر ورواحها شهر وأسلنا له عين القطر ومن الجن من يعمل بين يديه بإذن ربه ومن يزغ منهم عن أمرنا نذقه من عذاب السعير. يعملون له ما يشاء من محاريب وتماثيل وجفان كالجواب وقدور الراسيات. اعملوا آل داود شكرا وقليل من عبادي الشكور. فلما قضينا عليه الموت ما دلهم على موته إلا دابة الأرض تأكل من سأته فلما خر تبينت الجن أن لو كانوا يعلمون الغيب ما لبثوا في العذاب المهين.
Subhanallah, those ayat. طيب. And to Solomon we subjected the wind. Its morning journey was that of a month, and its afternoon journey was that of a month. And we made flow for him a spring of liquid copper. And among the jinn were those who worked for him by the permission of his Lord. And whoever deviated among them from our command, we will make him taste the punishment of the blaze. They made for him what he willed of elevated chambers, statues, bowls like reservoirs, and stationary kettles. We said, work, O family of David, in gratitude, and few of my servants are grateful. And when we decreed for him death, nothing indicated to them, i.e., the jinn, his death except a creature of the earth eating his staff. But when he fell, it became clear to the jinn that if they had known the unseen, they would not have remained in humiliating punishment. طيب. What does the Shaykh rahimahullah say in regards to these particular ayat? He says, Shaykh Abdul Rahman bin Nasir Sa'di alayhi rahmatullah, لما ذكر فضله على داود عليه السلام, when or after Allah mentioned his bounty and virtue upon Dawood عليه السلام, ذكر فضله على ابنه سليمان عليه السلام, Allah proceeded to mention his favor upon his son, David's son, Solomon, Sulaiman عليه السلام. وأن الله سخر له الريح تجري بأمره وتحمل جميع ما معه وتقطع المسافة البعيدة جدا في مدة يسيرة. And that Allah facilitated and subdued for him the wind that goes and moves by his command, and it carries him and it carries whatever he has with him, and it basically covers a huge distance in a very short span of time. فَتَسِيرُ فِي الْيَوْمِ مَسِيرَةَ شَهْرَيْنِ. In one day, he would able to cover the distance of 2 months. In one day, he would cover the distance of 2 months. غُدُوَّهَا شَهْرٌ أي أول النهار إلى الزوال. So the beginning of the day until noon. وَرَوَاحُهَا شَهْرٌ مِنَ الزَّوَالِ إلى آخر النهار. That would be from noon time until the end of the day, يعني until Maghrib. وأسلنا له عين القطر أي سخرنا له عين النحاس وسهلنا له الأسباب في استخراج ما يستخرج منها من الأواني وغيرها. So we made for him easy for him the spring of liquid of copper, so that he could make from those utensils and plates and the likes of that. وسخر الله له أيضا الشياطين والجن لا يقدرون أن يستعصوا عن أمره. Allah further subjected to him the shayateen and the jinn, who had to obey him and they could not disobey him in any command. وَمَنْ يَزِغْ مِنْهُمْ عَنْ أَمْرِنَا نُذِقْهُ مِنْ عَذَابِ السَّعِيرِ. If they were to deviate from our command, then we will make them taste the punishment of the blaze. وَأَعْمَالُهُمْ كُلُّ مَا شَاءَ سُلَيْمَانَ عَمِلُوهُ. What was the nature of their work? Anything that Sulaiman willed and wanted, they did. من محاريب وهو كل بناء يعقد وتحكم به الأبنية. So maharib is basically any type of elevated chamber, any type of chamber which is built. It's like almost an infrastructure which is made for other things to be built on it. فهذا فيه ذكر الأبنية الفخمة. So this mentions the lofty and expensive buildings and structures. وتماثيل أي صور الحيوانات والجمادات من إتقان صنعتهم. And also statues of animals and inanimate objects, which was from the perfection of their making. وقدرتهم على ذلك, and their ability to do so. وعملهم لسليمان, and all the work that they did for Sulaiman عليه السلام. وجفان كالجواب أي كالبرك الكبار يعملونها لسليمان للطعام. And also bowels like reservoirs. The Sheikh said it's like gigantic lakes which they used to make for the food for Sulaiman عليه السلام. لأنه يحتاج إلى ما لا يحتاج إليه غيره. He used to need that which others did not need. He had an army of people that were with him. So to feed those people, it's a lot of things. So big pots, big cooking pots, and big containers of food and what have you. ويعملون له قدورا راسيات أي لا تزال عن أماكنها من عظمها. And they also make these stationary kettles. They're still in their place because of how great and big they are. فلما ذكر منته عليهم أمرهم بشكرها. After Allah mentioned his favors upon them, he commanded them to be thankful. فقال اعملوا آل داود وهم داود وأولاده وأهله. That would be referring to Dawood and his children and his family, i.e. his wife or his parents. لأن المنة على الجميع, because that favor encompassed everybody. وكثير من هذه المصالح عائد لكلهم, and a lot of these benefits were benefiting all of them. شكرا لله على ما أعطاهم, meaning do gratitude to Allah for what He had given them. ومقابلة لهم لما أولاهم, and as a return and a token of appreciation and gratitude to what Allah Azza wa Jal had given them. وقليل من عبادي الشكور, and this is where we are all guilty. We are all guilty, and few of my servants are grateful. Allah al-Musta'an. Allah al-Musta'an. If we are disqualified from being among the grateful ones, those with gratitude. Allah al-Musta'an. Meaning from among Allah's creation, very few are thankful. Allah knows who they are. That renders the rest who are not grateful to Allah to be ungrateful. And that could be us. So either you've made the cut and you are among those who are grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so congratulations, and not that we can confirm that, but I'm just saying, or we've missed it, and we are among the ungrateful slaves of Allah. Wallahu al-musta'an. Hey. فأكثرهم لم يشكروا الله تعالى على ما أولاهم من نعمه ودفع عنهم من النقم. Most of them did not thank Allah for what He had bestowed upon them of favors and what He had removed from them of calamities. If you want to know what gratefulness is or thankfulness, والشكر اعتراف القلب بمنة الله تعالى وتلقيها افتقارا إليها. It is the heart's acknowledgement of the favor of Allah, and then you receiving it in the state of need for it. وصرفها في طاعة الله تعالى, then utilizing it in obedience to Allah. وصونها عن صرفها في المعصية, and protecting it from utilizing it in disobedience. Oh, we are in trouble. Ay, 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 capitano, no bueno. No bueno, mucho no bueno. So these are the things that we have to do to, if you want to know, okay, say, wait, am I grateful to Allah? Am I among the few al-ibad wa qalilun min ibadi ash-shakur? Are we among those ibadi ash-shakur, or are we among the other ones? Then here's a yardstick for measurement. Number one, your heart acknowledging that this is the favor of Allah, not your job, not your company, not your parents, not I don't know who. Secondly, when you receive it, you're not boastful and arrogant. You receive it while in a state of humbleness and poverty to Allah, that you need it, not that you've earned it because you're such a great person. And thirdly, ya rajul arhamni. Thirdly, you are utilizing it strictly in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are not using it in disobeying Allah. That tells you where we stand. So, no comments. فلم يزل الشياطين يعملون لسليمان عليه الصلاة والسلام كل بناء وكانوا قد موهوا على الإنس. So the shayateen remained in the state of doing every type of construction for Sulaiman, and they had been موهوا from يعني they have been made invisible to the humans. وأخبروهم, or they've deceived them. وأخبروهم أنهم يعلمون الغيب, and the jinn they deceived the ins by telling them that they know the unseen. ويطلعون على المكنونات, and that they know the inner parts of the matters. فأراد الله تعالى أن يري العباد كذبهم في هذه الدعوة. Allah wanted to show His slaves the lie of the jinn in this regard. فمكثوا يعملون على عملهم. So they remained working the things that Sulaiman had ordered them. وقضى الله الموت على سليمان عليه السلام, even though Allah Azza wa Jal had decreed death already upon Sulaiman. واتكأ على عصاه, and he died while he was reclining on his staff. وهي المنسأة فصاروا إذا مروا به وهو متكئ عليها ظنوه حيا وهابوه. So when they would pass by him while they were working, they see him reclining on his staff, they thought that he was alive, and they would be scared of him. فغدوا على عملهم كذلك سنة كاملة على ما قيل. They continued in the state for a whole year working, thinking that Sulaiman is alive and he knows what's going on. حتى سلطت دابة الأرض على عصا. Until Allah Azza wa Jal had given the command for the creature of the earth, it's a type of animal, to start eating away from the staff. فلم تزل تراه حتى باد وسقط, and he remained like this until he fell عليه السلام. فسقط سليمان. So Sulaiman fell. وتفرقت الشياطين, and the shayateen spread out. وتبينت الإنس أن الجن, and then the humans became well aware that jinn لو كانوا يعلمون الغيب ما لبثوا في العذاب المهين. Had they known the unseen, they would have not remained in this humiliating punishment. وهو العمل الشاق عليهم, which was a lot of work that they had to do. فلو علموا الغيب, had they known the unseen, لعلموا موت سليمان الذي هم أحرص شيء عليه ليسموا مما هم فيه. Had they really known the unseen, they would have known that Sulaiman died, which was something they were very keen on, so they will be saved from all the hard work that they were putting in. You understand? طيب. The story of Saba is quite a lengthy one. What time did we start? Yeah, we'll do some of it. طيب يلا تفضل.
لقد كان لسبإ في مسكنهم آية جنتان عن يمين وشمال كلوا من رزق ربكم واشكروا له بلدة طيبة ورب غفور فأعرضوا فأرسلنا عليهم سيل العرم وبدلناهم بجنتيهم جنتين ذواتي أكل خمط وأثل وشيء من سدر قليل ذلك جزيناهم بما كفروا وهل نجازي إلا الكفور وجعلنا بينهم وبين القرى التي باركنا فيها قرى ظاهرة وقدرنا فيها السير سيروا فيها ليالي وأياما آمنين فقالوا ربنا باعد بين أسفارنا وظلموا أنفسهم فجعلناهم أحاديث ومزقناهم كل ممزق إن في ذلك لآية لكل صبار شكور.
All right, so there was for the tribe of Saba, which is the name of the surah, in their dwelling place a sign. 2 fields of gardens on the right and on the left. They were told, eat from the provisions of your Lord and be grateful to him. A good land have you and a forgiving Lord. Before I proceed, there are so many lessons for our practical lives in the story of the people of Saba. In your job, in your career, with your family, with your neighbors, with your friends, there are valuable lessons to be learned in terms of the story of the people of Saba. So pay close attention and be more concerned with the class than being concerned with the Q&A after the class, because the Q&A after the class is absolutely useless and insignificant in comparison to the class, because the class is the translation of the works of the people of knowledge, and the Q&A is my silly self being silly with you. Please understand the vast difference between the two. It's good that we recognize things for what they are. All right. So again, as we approach the end of the class, the number of attendees doubles, which means it's more people more likely looking out for the Q&A and not really interested in what I'm about to say. They just want me to finish this part so we can get to the Q&A. No, please stop this backwards thinking. Try to learn from what we're going through, inshallah ta'ala. طيب. But they turned away, refusing. So we sent upon them the flood of the dam, and we replaced their 2 fields of garden with gardens of bitter fruit, tamarisks, and something of a sparse lot trees. By that we repaid them because they disbelieved. And do we thus repay except the ungrateful? And we placed between them and the cities which we had blessed many visible cities. And we determined between them the distance of journey, saying, travel between them by night or by day in safety. But incidentally, they said, our Lord lengthened the distance between our journeys and wronged themselves. And so we made them narrations and dispersed them in total dispersion. Indeed, in that are signs for everyone patient and grateful. Allahu Akbar. That is something else, man. That is something else. Saba'un qabilatun ma'rufatun fi adanil Yemen. Saba is a very well-known tribe in the edges or the suburbs, I would say, of Yemen. وَمَسْكَنُهُمْ بَلْدَةٌ يُقَالُ لَهَا مَأْرِبْ. And they used to stay in a city or a village known as Ma'rib. ومن نعم الله ولطفه بالناس عموما وبالعرب خصوصا. And from the bounty of Allah and His kindness towards people in general and the Arabs specifically, أنه قص في القرآن أخبار المهلكين والمعاقبين ممن كان يجاور العرب. That Allah Azza wa Jal narrated in the Quran the stories of those that were destroyed and or were punished from among those that were neighbors to the Arabs. ويشاهد آثاره أو يشاهد آثاره, and those whom remnants or remains you could actually see. ويتناقل الناس أخباره, and the type of يعني the closeness which allows the people to convey to each other the stories. ليكون ذلك أدعى إلى التصديق وأقرب للموعظة. This will make it more likely for them to believe, and it will make it closer for them to be admonished. فقال لقد كان لسبأ في مسكنهم أي محلهم الذي يسكنون فيه آية. So in the very place where they used to live, there was a sign. والآية هنا ما أدر الله عليهم من النعم. The ayah, the sign here is what Allah Azza wa Jal had bestowed upon them of bounties. وصرف عنهم من النقم, and what Allah had removed from trouble and hardship for them. الذي يقتضي ذلك منهم أن يعبدوا الله ويشكروه. This necessitated that they should worship Allah and be thankful to Him. ثم فسر الآية بقوله, then Allah explained specifically what that sign was. So He said, جنتان عن يمين وشمال, 2 gardens on the right and on the left. وكان لهم واد عظيم تأتيه سيول كثيرا, and they had a great gigantic valley that used to receive a lot of water. وكانوا بنوا سدا محكما يكون مجمع للماء, and they had built a dam, a very well structured dam that used to accumulate or contain and preserve the water. فكانت السيول تأتي, so whenever it would rain, all the basically running water, the floods will come all the way to the dam. فيجتمع هناك ماء عظيم, so gathered there would be a massive amount of water. فيفرقونه على بساتينهم التي عن يمين ذلك الوادي والشمال, so they would distribute this water which was on the right side of the valley and on the left. وتغل لهم تلك الجنتان العظيمتان من الثمار ما يكفيهم ويحصل لهم به الغبطة والسرور, and then these 2 gardens will provide them with abundance of fruits which will be sufficient for them, and it will make them in the state of perpetual happiness and entertainment and joy. فأمرهم الله بشكر نعمه التي أدرها عليهم من وجوه كثيرة. So Allah Azza wa Jal commanded them that they should be thankful to him because of these bounties he bestowed upon them, and from many different facets. What are those bounties? Minha, among them, هاتان الجنتان اللتان غالب أقواتهم منهما, those two gardens, which were the source of most of their food. ومنها أن الله جعل بلدهم بلدة طيبة, that Allah Azza wa Jal has made their village a good village, لحسن هوائها, because it had a good atmosphere, good air. وقلة وخمها وحصول رزق رغد لها, and it didn't have all these, no pollution, and it was a source of great sustenance for them. ومنها, and among them, أن الله تعالى وعدهم إن شكروه أن يغفر لهم ويرحمهم. Allah promised them, if they're thankful to him, that Allah will forgive them and have mercy on them. ولهذا قال, that's why he said بلدة طيبة ورب غفور. بلدة طيبة, a good village, a good land, and a forgiving Lord. ومنها أن الله لما علم احتياجهم في تجارتهم ومكاسبهم من الأرض المباركة, والظاهر أنها قرى صنعاء كما قاله غير واحد من السلف. And when Allah knew their need for commerce and for earning in a blessed land, and according to a very strong opinion, it is Sana'a, according to more than one of the Salaf. وقيل إنها الشام, and others said it was Sham, Levant. هيأ لهم من الأسباب ما به يتيسر وصولهم إليها بغاية السهولة من الأمن وعدم الخوف. Allah facilitated for them means to arrive or reach, whether it is Yemen, whether it is Sana'a, or it is Sham. Allah made easy for them their ability to transport and commute over there with complete security and no fear. وتواصل القرى بينهم وبينها, and their ability to go to these villages and have the people go back and forth. بحيث لا يكون عليهم مشقة بحمل زاد والمزاد, so there is no hardship in them in having to carry all these weights with them and all these luggages. ولهذا قال وجعلنا بينهم وبين القرى التي باركنا فيها قرى ظاهرة وقدرنا فيها السير, أي سيرا مقدرا يعرفون ويحكمون عليه بحيث لا يتيهون عنه ليال وأياما. So they had a very specific distance which they were very well acquainted with, so that they don't get lost, nights and days, wandering around trying to find their destination. No, Allah made it easy for them. Aminin. All this while they were aminin, they were ay mutma'innina fi sayr fi tilka al-layali wal ayyam ghayra khaifin. They were in a state of comfort. In these trips, and the nights and the day. They were not scared. وهذا من تمام نعمة الله عليهم أن أمنهم من الخوف. And this is from the perfection of Allah's bounty upon people, is that He secures them from fear. فأعرضوا عن المنعم وعن عبادته. So here comes the problem. They turned away from the bestower of the favors and from worshipping Him. وبطروا النعمة وملوها. And they became arrogant with the bounty they had, and they were bored of it. حتى إنهم طلبوا وتمنوا أن تتباعد أسفارهم بين تلك القرى التي كان السير فيها متيسرا. So much so that they asked that Allah makes their journey longer between the villages that were relatively close. Like, you want to travel to another city and it takes you 20 minutes, and then you say, no, I wish it takes me 20 hours. So why? If you can get there in 20 minutes to get the job done, why do you want to go in 20 hours? إيشبك يا بابا. سلامات. عرفت؟ فالوضع صعب يعني. سبحان الله. عجيب يا أخي, the people of Saba. وظلموا أنفسهم بكفرهم بالله وبنعمته. They wronged themselves by disbelieving in Allah, or by being ungrateful to Allah and to His bounties. فعاقبهم الله تعالى بهذه النعمة التي أضغتهم. So Allah punished them with the very bounty that made them transgress. فأبادها عليهم. Allah removed it. Allah exterminated it. فأرسل عليهم سيل العرم. So Allah Azza wa Jal sent upon them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent upon them. Let me get you the exact translation from here. Where is it? Oh, it's not here. Yeah, right there. Yeah, the flood. Oh, so Allah Azza wa Jal sent upon them the flood of the dam. There you go. My bad. أي السيل المتوعر الذي خرب سدهم وأتلف جناتهم. Allahu Akbar. So Allah sent upon them this flood that actually destroyed their dam and it corrupted their gardens. وخرب بساتينهم, and it destroyed their gardens also. So the Jannah, يعني the Jannah is a garden. These terms are usually used interchangeably. Whether it is a place of beauty, of something that you observe, or it's a place where you get fruits from, all of these were destroyed. فتبدلت تلك الجنات ذات الحدائق المعجبة والأشجار المثمرة. So those gardens that had those beautiful impressive trees that were fruitful were replaced. وصار بدلها أشجار لا نفع فيها. They were replaced with trees that had no benefit in them. ولهذا قال وبدلناهم بجنتيهم جنتين ذواتي أكل أي شيء قليل من الأكل الذي لا يقع منهم موقعا. They had a little food that didn't have that impact on them. It didn't really hit them the same way the previous ones did. خمط وأثل وشيء من سدر قليل. So it's a bitter fruit and tamarisks and something of sparse lote trees. وهذا كله شجر معروف. All these are known trees. وهذا من جنس عملهم. This is equal to their deeds. فكما بدلوا الشكر الحسن بالكفر القبيح, just like they replaced the good gratitude with ugly disbelief, بدلوا تلك النعمة بما ذكر. That bounty of theirs was replaced with what was mentioned, what was aforementioned. ولهذا قال ذلك جزيناهم بما كفروا وهل نجازي إلا الكفور. This is what we compensated them. This is what we repaid them because of they disbelieve. Do we repay except the one who's ungrateful? أي وهل نجازي جزاء العقوبة بدليل السياق. Do we then repay, meaning with punishment as per the context, إلا من كفر بالله وبطر النعمة, except one who disbelieves in Allah and he rejects the bounty. فلما أصابهم ما أصابهم, when what afflicted them تفرقوا وتمزقوا بعدما كانوا مجتمعين. They were dispersed and they were ripped off just after they had come together, after they had been joined. وجعلهم الله أحاديث يتحدث بهم وأسمارا للناس. Allah made them just conversation or stories that the people speak about at night or during the day. وكان يضرب بهم المثل, and they used to people will use them as an example, like as a proverb or as a mention of an ancient event that you use in today's situation to mention like as a lesson for people, as a moral lesson. فيقال تفرقوا أيدي سبأ فكل أحد يتحدث بمجرم. So there was basically, if somebody wants to say like these people were majorly divided, so like they were divided like the people of Saba. So everybody speaks about them. ولكن لا ينتفع بالعبرة فيهم إلا من قال الله إن في ذلك لآيات لكل صبار شكور. So but still with their lesson and their story, most people will not benefit except those who Allah said about. And about the ayat, the only people who will benefit from the ayat of Allah Azza wa Jal is every sabbarin shakur, every person that is patient and grateful. Sabbarin ala al-makari wa shada'id. He is patient upon detestable things or upon difficult things. يتحملها لوجه الله, and he bears it for seeking the face of Allah. ولا يتسخطها, and he does not show displeasure. بل يصبر عليها, rather he's patient with it. شكور لنعمة الله تعالى. He's grateful to the bounty of Allah. يقر بها, he acknowledges it, he confesses it. ويعترف ويثني على من أولى, and he praises the one who bestowed it upon him. ويصرفها في طاعته, and he further utilizes it in his obedience. فهذا إذا سمع بقصتهم وما جرى منهم عليهم. So this is if you hear their story and you see what happened to them and what happened from them and what happened to them. عرف بذلك أن تلك العقوبة جزاء لكفرهم نعمة الله. A person will easily understand that this was a punishment for their ungratefulness or their disbelief in the bounty of Allah. وأن من فعل مثلهم, and that whoever does what they did, فعل به كما فعل بهم, what was done to them will be done to him. وأن شكر الله تعالى حافظ لنعمة دافع للنقمة. And you being grateful to Allah is means of preserving Allah's bounty and means of keeping away the punishment of Allah. وأن رسل الله صادقون فيما أخبروا به. And that all the messengers of Allah are truthful in that which they have told. وأن الجزاء حق كما رأى أنموذجه في دار الدنيا. And that the compensation is, the recompense on the day of judgment is inevitably going to happen, just as we have seen samples of it in this worldly life. So with this, inshallah, we conclude, and bi'idhnillah, next week we'll do with ayah 20 onward. So please mention that in the Telegram, ayah number 20. And here we are. Bismillah. Wow. Wow, 0 questions. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If a student of knowledge puts himself in a place to take questions and gives the answer, but then says, don't say that it's from me, or don't attribute it to me, or don't say my name, is this odd? Yes, it's very odd. That's very odd. I don't understand why would that happen. Either you're gonna answer, either say I don't know, or if you're gonna answer the question, then they should, I don't know the wisdom in you trying to be anonymous and unknown. Yes, I find that very odd. Barakallah feek. Next. No, I did part 2 already. Is Fadil Sadaqat or Fada'il? Fada'il Sadaqat a deviant book? Because I found it on one of the shelves at the local masjid. Yeah. Fada'il A'mal and Fada'il Sadaqat are deviant books of the Tablighi Jama'atu. Jama'at al-Tabligh al-Dalla al-Mubtadi'a. هم من يقرؤون هذا الكتاب ويعظمونه أشد تعظيم. And this book contains fables and stories that promote wrong aqidah, kufr and shirk and bid'ah. Those books should be burnt. If you have access and authority to burn those books, burn them. Hey, I was advised by somebody to stop listening to your lectures, as you're not a true Salafi. Still, he got one of your funny Q&A clips on his channel, and that the real ulama are behind bars. What is this about? I don't know. How am I supposed to answer that? The real ulama are behind bars? I never claimed to be an alim, and there are many ulama that are not behind bars, namely Sheikh Salim al-Tawil and Sheikh al-Ruhaili and Sheikh Suhaimi and Sheikh Sheikh al-Fawzan, Salih al-Fawzan. All of these are major, grandiose ulama that are not behind bars. So I don't know what this is all about. Be careful of who you listen to, man. These people be tripping. I'm not a true Salafi. What am I, fake Salafi? How can someone be a fake Salafi? Like, what do I do? I tell you not to believe in the names and attributes of Allah. I tell you to go against the rulers. How am I being a fake Salafi? Hey, next. Can we sell silver to men, like silver chains, bracelets? If they're going to wear them, no. If you know that they're going to wear them, no. Can I give a charity to my local masjid even though they might a tablighi jama'at? No. Don't give the donation to a masjid that might turn out to be a tablighi masjid. Now, do you know if there's a valid issue of dispute that it's permissible for women to get laser hair removal in the awra area because of the greater benefits, and or because some women are very hairy? Yeah, that's fine. I don't know of an opinion that says that you cannot get laser hair removed, as long as it's the hair that you are allowed to remove. Whatever the means the sister wants to follow to remove that hair, knock yourself out. The hadith says that a person is not sinful for his thoughts as long as he doesn't speak about it or act upon it. Does this apply if the person is talking to himself with no one around him? Yeah, what is he talking to himself about though? I mean, wait. Someone talking to himself with no one around, like talk to himself, or like thinking in his head? Or does he talk to himself? Like, Abu Musab, you know that you're a strange person, right? You know that tomorrow you have a big event. Are you ready? Abu Musab, are you listening to me? Huh? Are you talking? Who is this, me talking to me? Do you use a mirror? Or do you do this just like virtually without a mirror? What do you mean you talking to yourself, bro? What in the world is talking to yourself? Are you talking about the inner thoughts that happen in your mind? Or are you talking about talking to yourself like talking to yourself? I don't know, man. Y'all gotta stop being crazy, bro. Dude talking to himself all day. Hey, were you saying something? No, I was just talking to myself. Ah, okay. All right. I've heard that a man will have 70 hur al-ain in Jannah. That's not true. That's not true. The minimum each man will have in Jannah is 2 huriyat. The minimum each brother will have in Jannah is 2 huriyat. Subject to more depending on how good of a boy you were. The better boy you were, the more huris you get. And if you die as a martyr, then yes, you get 70. Insha'Allah. But the minimum for the average Muslim is 2. Can non-Muslims attend Medina, enter Medina? Yes. Yes, non-Muslims can enter Medina. There are many evidences. The Prophet ﷺ allowing the Christians to come into the masjid where he discussed with them the matter of Isa, and he gave him da'wah. And what was the name of the Sahabi who was tied? He was a disbeliever. He was tied in the masjid, and he continued to observe the Muslims for days and how they behaved. And when he was released, he became Muslim. So the scholars say if there's a benefit in bringing non-Muslims into the masjid or to Medina or otherwise, if there's a benefit in that, wherein you're showing them kindness and whatever you want to call it, hospitality, then yes, it is permissible. As for these massive Saudi haters, Thumama Ahsant ya Faris, as for these amazing, despicable Saudi haters, where nothing that happens here is pleasing to them, and all day they're sitting there in standby mode, waiting for anything that appears to be negative, and without even knowledge, they immediately disgrace and criticize and talk smack. These are a bunch of ignorant people who don't deserve to be running a falafel shop. Wallahi, these people like Daniel, and they're like, wallah, falafel shop is too much for them. But they want to speak about every matter about Islam because they think that, having a bunch of followers is going to get you somewhere. To Allah we complain, wallah. Allah musta'an. Compound ignorance. Don't even know the basic rulings of Islam. Don't even know the seerah. Yet everybody wants to demonize and scrutinize just based on emotions and hatred. It's a sickness in the heart, Allah musta'an. Did the shayateen help Sulaiman or the jinn? The shayateen or the jinn, ya Ma'moon? They were helping Sulaiman. The shayateen of jinn, yani the good jinn and the shayateen, they were all working for Sulaiman under his command. They were not helping him. They were doing what they were told. When we meet in this world, let's have some coffee and Zainab's fingers. Bro, I'm guessing this is the name of a sweet. That's horrible though, man. I cannot look. Word to my mother. If there's a fruit called Zainab's fingers, I would not eat it, even if it was the tastiest thing in the world. It's no Lebanese dessert. I don't care what it is. There's some things that are just not acceptable. Just like they have a sweet here called Ali. How you gonna say, I'm gonna go eat Ali? And Ali could be sitting right next to you. And I mean, if I was Ali, I would have if my name was Ali, I'd have a big problem, and I would enforce these restaurants to change these names. Wallah, I would say, remove the name of my mother, Yabn al-Shibshib, from the sweets area. Remove it. Don't call it Ali. Billah alayk, call it Halib bil khubz, call it Jibna bil qishta, call it Shibshib bil batata, call it anything. Don't call it Ali. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How are you going to have Ali sitting there, everybody taking a plate, having a piece? Crazy world, crazy people. Unacceptable. People that name sweets in such horrendous names, wallah, it's unacceptable. How you going to eat Zainab's fingers, man? She's not your wife. And even if she were. Anyways, next. It's disgusting. People need to see doctors. Tired of this. Tired. I'm tired. Is it shirk to pray, say phrase like, by the way? Well, yo, my man said, is it shirk to say by the way? How is it shirk to say by the way? What the heck? What wait, what is the context? So imagine I'm giving a lecture. Akhwan, today we're going to speak about Tawheed. And by the way, last week we also spoke about Tawheed. Hey, one of the surah. Hey, Sheikh, astaghfirullah, Sheikh. You call into shirk from the minbar? Brother, why? You said, by the way. By the way, there's nothing wrong in saying, by the way. You said shirk. Shirk again? Wallah, I'm going to call my Sheikh. Sheikh. He keeps saying, by the way. By the way, is it okay to criticize him in front of the people? Oh, I fell into shirk myself. Oh my God. I can't say by the way anymore. يا رجل قسما لا تفصلني ولا لا تفصلني ولا ايش هو by the way is a statement of shirk, man. What? Y'all crazy today, man. Can we make dua in our own language in the sujood before salam? Yes, you can. But try to learn Arabic for the sake of Allah. At least learn the adiyah from the Quran and the Sunnah, which are in Arabic. You'll be doing us all a great favor. Next. This brother does not know how to answer, does not know how to ask a one-sentence question. Min al-Muslimin, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, has to write an essay every time he asks the questions. If one asks a student of knowledge questions and Ya Hajji, we answered this in the beginning, Allah yasalhik. How to improve shooting accuracy in basketball? By practice makes perfect. And by learning the proper form. And by making sure that your fingers roll after the release of the ball. And that you're not using both hands to shoot. The left hand is used to, to protect and to aid, and the right hand, or whichever hand you shoot for, is the one that actually does the shooting and the follow through, and then the the finger roll. Yeah. Nah. And consistency. What do you think of doing a Q&A at the start once? So anyone who comes specifically for the Q&A would inshallah get some benefit from the class. I promise you, ya Juwayriya, I promise you, wallahu a'lam, if we do the Q&A in the beginning, we will begin the class with 80 students and we will end with 20. We will begin with 80 and end with 20, just like we began with 20 and ended with 82. Right now we had 82 viewers. I could see right here, live viewers are 82. We started with 20, 20, went down to 17, and then picked up a little bit. Now at the Q&A, we're at 82. If I were to reverse, we will get the reverse results. By the way. Next. I find myself impatient with some Muslims, even though I want good for them and love them for the sake of Allah. Wallah anta sadiq. I saw you answer brother's question with so much patience during the Q&A in the UK. MashaAllah, one of my rare moments. How do I improve myself in the way I interact with people? I really feel bad sometimes afterwards. Look, man, the way I see it is, it's about it's about learning how to engage people. For example, I don't have the same patience with my son. Mussab is right here. I don't have not even 2% of the patience I had with that brother with my own son. Maybe because Mussab is much more difficult than that man is. Or maybe it's just because, different people have different impacts and different relationships. But the idea is with strangers, at least, it's easier for me to do with strangers. I always try to have empathy. I put myself in his shoes, understand he's frustrated. Palestine was hurting his feelings. I try to understand and be benevolent and accommodating. How do you do it? You just have to be patient, bro. Hang in there. What you got to lose? Alhamdulillah. How do you get the mercy of Allah in the day of judgment? Well, you get the mercy of Allah on the day of judgment by being a good boy today. Be good now, you get the mercy on that day. Is UK uni maintenance loan haram? I don't know what that is, but you do need to ask the UK people. Ask the UK's. MashaAllah, the UK has plenty of students of knowledge. The UK has plenty of students of knowledge. I don't know why you're asking Abu Mussab, who lives in Riyadh, who's from Lebanon, who lived in America, so doesn't know anything about the UK except those 8 days I spent recently, or 9 days. When you have proper graduates from Medina in the UK. I froze to death. What is your advice regarding marrying a woman who is knowledgeable and has a correct manhaj and aqidah but doesn't cover her hair? Are you serious? How is that? How does she have correct manhaj and aqidah? How does she have a correct aqidah when she doesn't cover her hair? What is your concept of correct aqidah? Ya Zriya. Ya Zriya. Correct aqidah is that she knows the names and attributes of Allah but doesn't live up to their meanings. She does not have a correct aqidah, nor does she have a correct manhaj in any way, shape, or form, and nor is she knowledgeable if she doesn't even bother covering her hair and wearing the hijab. That's ridiculous, Bob. That is absolutely ridiculous, Bob. That is not a woman that you should marry at all. That's a woman that you should tell to go and re-study Islam from scratch. Because if she truly knew Allah, then the least she could have done is covered her hair and her body and the rest of the things that a woman is expected to cover. Allah musta'an. My family lives in different places, so since many years we've been talking on speaker group call. During the call, there's a lot of backbiting, and I'm trying not to listen to it. Even after the calls, my parents don't talk to each other much, so my mom hears our convos and then backbites later. I try not to defend or change topics, but also blah, 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 things at the same time myself. Blah, 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 blah. Man, come on, this is a long question, man. Bottom line is, okay, you need to. It's not complicated. You need to advise. Stop being a chicken and a wuss. Stop being a chicken and a wuss. When the situation arises, say, hey, guys, don't backbite. Haram. That's it. Don't be scared of highlighting the right of Allah in front of the people. Now, is the earning of football player halal? Technically, it depends. It depends. Generally, yes, playing football is lawful. Making money from that is lawful. But if that money is involved with other endorsements with haram companies, or there are other elements of haram in them, I don't know. I've never, been in that predicament to know the details. Generally, playing football is lawful. Making money from that is lawful. But I'm sure there are a lot of nuances that we need to be aware of. We need to finish. I'm done. Did you get the hands on a Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's right here with its glory. MashaAllah, Tabarak ar-Rahman. The S24 Ultra, the greatest phone in the world. Hello, Samsung. This is AI speaking. How can I help you this particular afternoon? Oh, you like customer service? Oh, so do I. Habibi, what's my opinion? It's the greatest phone that mankind has ever seen. You'll be crazy to look at anything afterwards. You'll be crazy to consider buying an iPhone again. Actually, it's a sign of complete ignorance and lack of knowledge of the technological telecommunication field. I don't even know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, please have mercy on yourself and explore the Galaxy AI with its beautiful, beautiful features. I'm not going to turn this into a demo time because I have to go play basketball right now, but you get the gist. Maybe next time, inshallah, we'll do a little demo for you guys and show you what's up. على كل حال أشكركم جميعا شكرا جزيلا على هذا المكان وأنا الآن ذاهب إلى ذاك المكان والسلام عليكم.